Okay, so let's take a look at this first question. You have two parallel lines, which you know right here, and you know three measures of three angles. You have this one here, which is 3x minus 5, this one here, which is 6x minus 14, and this one here, which is y plus 8. So, in order to start a question like this, you have to be able to look at two different angles, and you have to look at two different angles that have the same variable. And that leaves you with these two angles right here. Now, because these are parallel lines, you know something about this angle, and this angle. Okay? So you know that this angle is the same as this angle. In other words, they would be equal to each other. But you can't do anything with that because they have different variables. So that leaves you with these two angles right here. Now, these two make up a linear pair. In other words, they make up a straight line. So if they make up a straight line, they have to add up to 180 degrees. So when you add these two, you can set that equal to 180 degrees. So you'd very simply set up an equation, 3x minus 5 plus 6x minus 14 is equal to 180 degrees. And then you would set up that equation. You would solve that equation for x. So once you know what x is equal to, I don't know what it's going to be equal to. Let's say it is equal to 30 degrees. Okay. So once you know what x is equal to, 30 degrees, you can figure out what this angle and what this angle is equal to. So you would substitute in your x for here. And if x was equal to 30, and I don't know that it is, you would get 90 minus 5, which would be 85 degrees. Now, you know that this angle and this angle are the same, so they both have to be 85 degrees. Well, you can then set up your equation here with y plus 8 equals 85 degrees. You would solve that equation and you would solve for y. Okay? That's how you would solve that first type of question. All right, let's take a look at the second question where we have a parallelogram. Okay, so we have a parallelogram because we know that these two lines are equal to each other or parallel to each other, and these two lines are parallel to each other. So that gives us a lot of information. We also have two values that are x's and two values that are y's. Okay, so the really neat thing about parallelograms is we know that continuous these two angles or these two angles or these two angles or these two angles are always going to add up to 180 degrees. So we simply take two of these angles, and they have to have the same variable. We add them together, and they would equal 180 degrees. We can do the same thing with these two angles. Doesn't matter which one, you're just solving for x and y. So you would very simply set up an equation, 8x plus 40 plus 6x is equal to 180 degrees. And then the same thing with these two, 7y plus 3y minus 10 equals 180 degrees. And you would solve for that variable. I hope that helps.